Christmas ranches.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Sure. Hey, Mayor.
What?
Could I remind everybody to please turn off your cell phones, or at least put them on silent? Would everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mayor Paul,
Here.
Vice Mayor Whitman,
Here.
Councilmember Hatton,
Here.
Councilmember Starkey,
Here.
Councilmember Lewis,
Here.
Mr. Lamack,
Here.
Mr. Lewis,
Here.
Mr. Holste, Mr. Weinthal.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We have a presentation this evening. So we have two presentations, but the first one is the New River Estates Drainage Study. Our Public Works Director will make some introductions.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, administrations, staff, residents. In November of 2020, the communities to the west and south of Sony Lake Park experienced significant flooding as a result of tropical storm Eta. In early 2021, the town and Central Broward Water Control District entered into an interlocal agreement to fund a drainage study of this area to assess existing conditions and make recommendations for future improvements. Our consultant, Craven and Thompson and Associates, completed the drainage study that will be presented to you this evening. Prior to today's meeting, we presented the results of the study at a community meeting held on February 22nd, 2022. Some of you attended the meeting, which also included 13 residents that were in attendance. During the community meeting, the town received comments from the community for consideration. I would like to introduce you to our engineer consultant, Adolfo Gonzalez. He will present to you the results of the drainage study.
Good evening.
Thank you, Asdel. Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members, town staff, and members of the public. Our company was hired by the town to come up with a preliminary drainage improvement plan for the New River Estates neighborhood area. Next, I'd like to show you some graphics related to Tropical Storm Eta, the drainage analysis that we conducted, and then end with the conceptual recommended plan for the neighborhood improvements. The graphic you see there on the left is the path of Tropical Storm Eta during the early part of November 2020. On the right side shows you the variation in rainfall intensity in southern Broward County during Eta. As you can see, Toward the western part of the county, the rainfall amounts were higher than on the eastern parts near New River Estates. But even with that, the nearest rain gauge to New River Estates showed that the 1-day, 3-day, and 7-day cumulative rainfall totals were equivalent to anywhere from a 1 in 3 year rainfall event to as much as a 1 in 50 year rainfall event for the 7-day cumulative total for related to Tropical Storm Eta. It's also important to note that 2020, the total rainfall in 2020 was about 30 inches more than the average annual rainfall that we receive here in South Florida. We took the information from Tropical Storm Eta, the actual rainfall data, and then merged it with a terrain model to come up with an analysis of the study area. And what we call the study area is, on the graphic, you see Griffin Road at the top of the graphic. The west side of the, would be your left-hand side of the graphic, is Wilson Road. The east side of the study area was Southwest 52nd Avenue, and the south side was 49th Street. In the middle of the graphic is 55th Avenue and 54th Terrace. That is in the middle of that study area that we included in our drainage models. To that model, we added all the existing buildings within the study area. We also added all the existing structures, which are represented in this graphic as orange dots. We then connected all of the structures with the existing pipes. On 55th Avenue and 54th Terrace, drainage is intercepted by those catch basins, flows south, and then west toward, on 48th Street, toward the S4 Canal. On the left-hand side of your screen is the S4 Canal, and on the right-hand side is the S2 Canal. Both of those canals, which are operated by the Central Broward Water Control District, flow northward toward the Sea Lemon Canal. Flows in that canal then flow eastward under the turnpike to a control structure that is owned and operated by the South Florida Water Management District that is just west of State Road 7. That control structure has a gate and pumps that control water levels in the Sea Lemon Canal near New River Estates. We also included all the water bodies within the study area, including the Sunny Lake area. Then we simulated the rainfall and runoff from Tropical Storm Eta. What you see on that graphic, the red shaded areas, is what our model shows as the anticipated or expected flooding areas during the storm itself. Now, it's a model, it's an approximation because we did not have any site-specific flood depth data to calibrate against against the actual storm. Let me back up one. There are three principal reasons why it flooded so long in the neighborhood during Tropical Storm Eta. The first one is the most obvious one. When it rains, some of the rainfall converges into runoff, and it pools in the lowest parts of the neighborhood and the lowest parts of the streets. The second reason is that we probably had a high groundwater table during that storm event period. That was due to saturated soils that resulted from an extended wet season that stretched into October and November of that particular year. And the third one is that the Sea Lemon Canal, because of the added rainfall from Tropical Storm Eta and the stages in the canal, there was a couple of days there when the canal was actually higher than some of the catch basins on 55th Avenue and 48th Street. Water was actually coming up on the Sea Lemon, up to the S4 and the S2 canals, through the pipes on the streets and bubbling out of the catch basins. This graphic shows the water levels in the Sea Lemon Canal, both on the upstream and downstream sides of that control structure that's near State Road 7. The graphic that's highlighted, the line that's highlighted in blue, shows the tidal stages on the downstream side of the control structure. So downstream or east of the control structure, it's tide. West of the control structure, it's the green highlighted line, and that is the canal levels before and after Eta near New River Estates. Tropical Storm Eta peaked between November 6th and November 11th of 2020. Even before the peak occurred, the South Florida Water Management District had already begun closing their gate, which is the red line in the graphic there, and turning on the pumps, which is the green vertical up and down lines, so they could continue to lower the canal stage in the C11, even though on the downstream side the tide was higher in some before the storm and during the peak of the storm. There was a time right after the storm peaked that the Water Management District even employed a temporary pump to assist with lowering that canal as far as they could to get it down back to normal operating conditions after the storm occurred. The red dashed line you see on the screen is the elevation of the intersection of 48th Street and 55th Avenue. For more than 2 days during the Storm Eta, the canal was higher than those catch basins on 55th Avenue and 48th Street. Again, water from the canal was actually backing up the pipes and overflowing out of the catch basins. The picture on the top shows you the black arrow is pointing to the existing catch basin on the north side, on the east side of 55th Avenue. You're looking at 55th Avenue looking north. At the background of the shot is Griffin Road. That black arrow is pointing to a catch basin that's on the east side, the northernmost catch basin. The picture on the bottom shows that same location during Eta. The white arrow is pointing to the rim of that catch basin. When the canal staged at its highest, it was about a half a foot higher in elevation than the rim elevation of that structure. Again, it was just bubbling out of that structure. The same thing occurred at the intersection of 48th Street, which is the road that's straight down the view, and to the right is 55th Avenue. At the northwest corner of that intersection, the black arrow is pointing to an existing catch basin. The lower picture is the same location, same view. The white arrow is pointing to where that catch basin is located. When the Sea Lemon Canal was high, that catch basin was about a foot underwater, or the rim was about a foot lower than the peak of the canal stages. After Tropical Storm Eta, the Central Broward Water Control District installed flap gates on both of the pipes that come out of 48th Street from that neighborhood into the S4 Canal. So the lower pictures, you see the after shots with the flap gates that the Water Control District installed on those two pipes. That should help with reducing the duration of flooding in those neighborhoods if they get another kind of storm event like that with similar canal stages. It'll help, but it won't mitigate the full effect of that just high canal level after a peak storm. To recap, as far as the drainage analysis model, everything that's highlighted in blue is within the study area that we created a model that merged survey data from the site as well as published surface features for the project. We also collected and surveyed the existing pipes on 55th Avenue, 54th Terrace, and 48th Street, as well as between 55th and 54th, there is a vacant right-of-way. We surveyed the southern half of that vacant right-of-way and incorporated all that information into the drainage model. With that, we then created rainfall simulations for a 1 in 3, 1 in 5, 1 in 10, 1 in 25, and 1 in 100 year storm event, as well as the 3-day totals for our Tropical Storm Eta. In every single model that we came up with for the existing conditions, there wasn't a single storm event where the existing roads and pipes are sufficient enough to not have any kind of street overtopping or street flooding. It just has a very low level of service right now for especially the intersection of 48th Street and 55th Avenue. We then took that existing conditions model and started creating scenarios, building scenarios on top of that, starting with progressively increasing pipe sizes on those 3 streets, adding more catch basins, adding more connectivity between pipes, until we came up with a model that we think will reduce street flooding and provide a higher level of service for the neighborhood, especially during emergency access conditions. That recommended scenario includes these following components. It includes upsizing the pipes on 55th Avenue and 54th Terrace, as well as the pipes on 48th Street to provide better conveyance to the outfall, which is the S4 Canal. We also recommend raising the eastern half of 48th Street so that there is a better level of service, especially for emergency access during and before and during an actual storm event. We would also recommend extending the pipes on 55th Avenue northward to then add more catch basins at existing low points along the street so that we can intercept that water before it starts shedding offside and pooling in the neighborhood yards. We are also recommending to put a drainage pipe and controls or a catch basin in that vacant right-of-way to help drain those flooded rear yards near that right-of-way. We also recommend extending or creating a new storm sewer network on the eastern leg of 48th Street to help with the drainage on that street, which doesn't have any drainage right now. And to construct a control structure at Sunny Lake, at the northeast corner of Sunny Lake, with a pipe that discharges to the S2 Canal to better control how the lake stages during a storm event and provide more floodplain storage within the neighborhood. We recommend doing the project in 2 phases with the downstream improvements first. So the first phase 1 would include the drainage pipe and catch basin in the rear yard of the vacant right-of-way, the improvements to 48th Street pipes and raising 48th Street, and the control structure at Sunny Lake to provide that new outfall to the S2 canal. Everything else would be done in phase 2. We then created a preliminary opinion of probable cost for design and construction, and we did it in 2 different projects. The table on your left is the anticipated cost if we assume that the existing water mains on 55th Avenue, 54th Terrace, and 48th Street cannot be protected while we are digging next to it an excavation for the drainage pipe. The table on the right shows what the expected cost could be if we can protect that water main while we're digging the drainage pipes in place. With that, that concludes my presentation. Thank you for letting me brief you on our actions to date.
Anybody have any questions? I have one. You want to start? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Yes, and I appreciate it very much. I know that with the storm Eta, we had a number of areas around the town that did flood quite a bit. You mentioned in your presentation, and I think we also realized this throughout the town and many other places, that the South Florida Water Management, even though they were pumping, many of us went out there to look at the pumps, both on the east side and the west side, during the storm and right thereafter, because of the flooding that we were getting complaints about. And we found out the data that was collected at the Water Advisory Board, of which I'm a member, they didn't start pumping soon enough. I mean, we can add a lot of money, and I'm sure it's needed, but if we don't have the proper protocols in place for the South Florida Water Management to start pumping early and reducing the levels in the Sea Lemon Canal, then any of the C4, C2, S4, S2s are not going to really draw down the proper amount in order to keep those communities from flooding in their streets. So what have we done to ensure that like adding maybe the pumping station into some of the canals from the S2 or the S4? Are we going to be using a manual pumping system if that occurs and they haven't drawn down, or where do we anticipate putting the water if it doesn't happen, because it backflows no matter what?
You're right, Councilwoman. Everything, we're at the mercy of the Water Management District because they are the ones that control the canal levels in the Sea Lemon Canal. We don't recommend putting a pump that would, let's say, collect the water from the S4, pump it into the Sea Lemon, because during storm conditions, the groundwater is saturated. Unless we close every single outlet from the neighborhood and from the adjacent areas to the Sea Lemon, we're not going to be able to contain that water. It's going to come up somewhere back into the system itself. I don't want to speak on behalf of the Water Management District because I'm not representing them here today, but I am aware that they are working on what's called a flood protection level of service study for the Sea Lemon Basin. They finished the C9 basin last year. I believe they are budgeted either this fiscal year or next fiscal year to study the Sea Lemon Basin. One of those study components is, are there any upsizing required for the pump station, not just to handle existing capacity, but also to handle a sea level rise, bank stabilization, anything else that they may think that's required over the next 50 years of that service life. I'm optimistic that that will result in some improvements to that system that provides more pumping capability to draw down the canal further down.
Well, I'm aware that they added additional pumps. I mean, the big, big pumps way out in Holiday Park. And I am aware that they did upgrade the S9 way out west in that canal, rather the sea. But we hadn't, and they haven't funded anything so far. So in our study, should we show that we are somehow in need of something like this? I mean, so that they can anticipate. They need to have more capacity in the C11 and an ability to convey that water there. So should we somehow in this study also be able to articulate that they need to do this?
It's a very good idea. I recommend that you do that as a town to recommend to the water managers that you be included in whatever initial planning discussions they have for this flood protection level of service study so that they are aware of what issues you are dealing with in terms of when the canal stage is much higher than the normal operating stage. How can the town then act on whatever data the water management district is providing? Because they're constantly tweaking the levels in that canal during or before a storm. But it gets to a point when either the tide is too high, their pumps aren't capable of pumping anymore, that we're just going to wait then until that canal recedes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Two things. And I don't mean to be, too negative, but, there's just so much capacity. And when you get a 100-year storm, then there's no place for the water to go. Even if you improve the pipes and the drainage system, when you have that much water and then you're confronted with high tide, it's a really difficult situation. And I can remember back, because every time we have a storm coming, the first thing I do is call or have one of staff call Central Broward or South Florida Water Management and ask them, are your pumps running? What is your schedule for your pumps? I can remember one year when they anticipated a heavy storm and they ran the pumps, they drew the canals way down, and then we never got any rain. So, it's a matter of trying to determine when the right time is to turn on those pumps. If you see the pattern of EDA, it was the peripheral rain, that we got. It wasn't the direct flow of the path of the storm. So these things are so unpredictable at times, and no matter what we do, I was just reading an article today about the ice layer in the Arctic Circle. It's melting, and in Antarctica they're melting much faster than they ever anticipated, and we know that leads to the water rising, the ocean rising. We have the incursion on the coast already, saltwater intrusion with the rising waters. So what we want to do, and I appreciate the study and everything, and what we have to do is whatever is recommended to temporarily at least mitigate the circumstances to the best of our ability to protect our residents. I'm just wondering that after we do all this work, if we get another 100-year storm, is that going to be able to alleviate? It may still cause some flooding, but will that alleviate the water rising as high as it has? Sorry to...
Well, in my opinion, I think the best thing that you could do has already happened, and that is with the Water Control District installing those flap gates on those two pipes. That alone should help with not a 100-year event, but certainly with the typical toad strangler during a wet season where the canal might be staging high anyway. That should help with that condition. So it should reduce the time that maybe those neighborhoods are underwater. Now, as far as raising 48th Street, that is probably the next best thing to be done there, just to provide better emergency access during a storm event. But short of additional pumps on the Sea Lemon Canal, there's not much anyone can do when you get a large storm event, a 1 in 50 year, 1 in 100 year storm event.
Thank you. We saw the thing on the cost, and maybe someone can answer this. Would we be eligible for any of the federal infrastructure funds for something of this nature?
I believe so, Mayor, and actually I have a question, and when you finish, I'll ask the question, which is kind of related to that process.
Okay. All right. I had seen, it's good to see it twice. I was at your other presentation and saw it then. So when you see it a second time, you find out a little bit more you might have missed the first time. But I know that this is very important for the residents in that area, and we have to do what we need to do. And needless to say, if the funding is available, I don't know if we have to apply for it or whether it's a grant or whether we have to match the funds. So I'd like for you to keep me up to date on that.
Yes, and all you said is correct. The improvements won't solve all of the problems, but will reduce the frequency of the flooding in that area and will also reduce the duration of the flooding. So if we will have this improvement completed before Tropical Storm Eta, you probably will have had still a little bit of flooding, but instead of dealing with heavy flooding and people not being able to get out of the house for a week, it may have been a day, perhaps several hours. So I think that's the difference, and just that leads to my question: does the town council supports moving forward with the engineering design and permitting, utilizing available stormwater funding, because we have the funding for the design,
Right.
and then to look, once we have the permitting completed on the design, then we can look into the federal funding to complete the project.
Absolutely move forward. Does anybody? Yeah. I didn't think anyone, what? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I
Go
agree.
ahead.
I agree.
Go ahead.
I just have a question. Oh, thank you. It's on. Is it on? Yes, ma'am, it's on. I'm doing good tonight. I just have a question on still. What responsibility does the South Florida Water Management have? Was this done with them because their seal is on it? Do they have any responsibility to help with this?
We can always approach them,
Oh,
but I'm not sure. But our systems are interconnected, and I always say this. It doesn't matter how much we do on our end. We need to work together as partners with Central Broward Water Control District and South Florida Water Management District, because we all part of the system, and
Yeah,
we need
okay,
to, for one part to work, it needs to be in conjunction with the other parts.
So this was just our study?
Yeah.
That is correct, which
Okay.
it was funded through the town, you
Yeah.
approved the funding, and through Central Broward Water Control District, we partnership with them to do this
That's
study.
what I was asking.
Yes.
They worked with you on this?
Yeah, Central Broward did.
Central
Yeah,
Broward.
thank you. Thank you,
Okay,
Mayor.
all right. I know any future partnership with Central Broward, they're quite limited on their available funds unless they too will be able to get funding, from the infrastructure bill. So,
Thank you, and we will move forward with the design as
Got it.
directed.
absolutely,
Thank you.
Thank you,
absolutely.
Asna.
How long will that take, do you think?
Usually, and I'll let Adolfo if I'm incorrect, but usually the design takes, I'll say, approximately 9 months, to include the permitting as well. So I would say 9 months to a year to get the design and permitting in place, and then go out to bid for construction.
Okay. We'll just have to pray that this will be an easy hurricane season. And usually, because we're having a lot of rain during our dry season, and usually, I don't know if I should say it, when you have a very wet, dry season, the hurricane season usually isn't as bad, but things don't seem to be the same these days, so it's really hard to make that prediction, but absolutely move forward. Thank you. All right, the next item. Here they go again, more awards. Julie Downey, our wonderful chief.
Good evening. On February 24th, we had a small promotional ceremony, and during that ceremony, we promoted a few people: driver engineer Isabel Pingle, driver engineer Michael Schubert, Lieutenant Zachary Hall, Battalion Chief Anil Mira, and Assistant Chief Dan Moran. And I've asked Assistant Chief Dan Moran to come up tonight to be recognized. Assistant Chief Dan Moran will be overseeing the EMS and Training and Special Projects Division. Chief Moran has served with Davie Fire Rescue for over 17 years, and his work in the EMS division has led to several of the awards that we've been here previously, including being named EMS Provider of the Year for 2018 and several of the other awards with the EMS Educator of the Year from last year. He holds a bachelor's degree in fire administration, 2 associate's degrees, and has obtained his Fire Officer 4 certification. In addition, I'm happy to announce that we were notified in January that Chief Dan Moran has successfully completed the process that awards the professional designation of Chief Fire Officer, which we call CFO. This is recognized by the Commission of Professional Credentialing, the CPC, which met on December 7th, 2021, to confer the designation. Chief Moran becomes one of only 1,594 CFOs worldwide and the first one in Davie Fire Rescue. The CFO designation program uses a comprehensive peer review model to evaluate candidates seeking credentialing. The CPC awards the designation only after an individual successfully meets all of the organization's stringent criteria. Achieving this designation signifies Chief Moran's commitment to his career in the fire and emergency services. Please join me in congratulating Assistant Chief Dan Moran on his new promotion. And for the rest of the presentation, I'm going to turn it over to Assistant Chief Dan Moran.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Good evening, everybody, and thank you, Chief Downey, for that. Thank you for allowing this presentation. I greatly appreciate it. I'm honored to be selected for this position. The other internal candidates are incredible chief officers. I have some huge shoes to fill, falling behind Chief Gonzalez and formerly Chief Downey in this position, but I know that our fire administration is full of highly skilled, motivated, and dedicated personnel. I'm thankful for the support that they've already given me, and I know I'll be successful because of that team. This position has many responsibilities, and there are two priorities that I will focus on. The first is the physical and mental health of our firefighters, because I know that this contributes to their ability to provide the best service possible to our community. And the second is to continue developing our continuous quality improvement program, as this assures that the best care possible is being provided to the citizens and guests of the town of Davie. I have seen 30 cardiac arrest survivors return home to their families because of this program, and I'm incredibly proud of it and want to continue its success. Through training and education, our department will always strive to be the best possible fire rescue agency that always delivers the best care. I am dedicated to always serving and being available to you all, and again, thank you very much for the support. It gives me great honor to discuss our Advanced Life Support Competition team. I'd like to bring up firefighter paramedics Andrew LeMay, Jordan De Leon, David Seo, and Kieran Baddeley. These four firefighters have spent countless hours of their own time to train and preparing for Advanced Life Support competitions. Over the past 3 years, these firefighter paramedics have been challenged to attend multiple competitions and consistently are placed among the top. The ALS competitions challenge fire rescue personnel by presenting challenging scenarios involving multiple patients and need critical life-saving skills to be performed quickly and proficiently. These scenarios stress responders by presenting the worst of the worst patients using high-fidelity mannequins and real victims. Fire rescue agencies compete against one another not just at one competition, but also in the Florida Cup, which consists of all the competitions placed together. This past January, the team competed at the Fire Rescue East competition and won first place. Our team is currently in the top place for this year's Florida Cup, and they have not seen the trophy yet because of a special engraving that had to be done on it, but Chief Downey has it for them tonight to acknowledge their first place finish for the last competition. Thank you to the council and administration support, the team has been able to compete in multiple competitions, and we have received outside project funding, which has paid for the majority of their equipment and their travel. The direct result of the amount of training is better service to the community. After competing, being scrutinized for every treatment and decision, the team is more confident to respond to any real-life emergency, and they bring this knowledge and experience to treat their patients with the best care. We are very proud of our ALS competition team, and again, congratulations on your first place finish.
Can we get some pictures and say congratulations? This is such a wonderful honor. You continuing the tradition of our Davie Fire and Rescue team to be the first, the best, and we thank you so much for your efforts.
On behalf of the team, Mayor, Town Council, Town Administration, and fire admin, we'd like to thank you all. We couldn't do it without the support for training, competing, or any of the equipment we use, so thank you.
We're gonna get some pictures?
Yes.
I like that trophy, it's nice. It's beautiful. Whose office does it go in? Oh, in the case, okay. All right, while they're taking the pictures, just always so proud when our teams display such great successes. And like I said, it's our teams that always makes us look so good. We appreciate it. What I have to do now is, under public hearings, the staff is requesting to table item 9, water and sewer service rates, until April 20th.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that will be then April 20th. If there was anyone here, because it was a public hearing for the water and sewer rates, we'll ask you to come back on April 20th. We could take a look at the consent agenda. Vice Mayor, do you need to pull anything?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Councilmember Lewis? Councilmember Hunt? Susan?
None for me.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
I'll be pulling 1 and 5. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda without 1 and 5?
Motion to approve consent agenda without 1 and 5.
Is there a second? I'll second it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you. All right, number 1 is the National Procurement Month. And our procurement manager, Brian O'Connor, will be coming up to accept it. May I have a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you. I'll ask Councilmember Hatton to read the proclamation.
Thank you, Mayor. Proclamation. Whereas the public procurement profession plays a significant role in the efficiency and effectiveness of both government and business, and whereas in addition to the purchase of goods and services, procurement adds value to the organization by performing functions such as executing, implementing, and administering contracts, conducting market research and analysis, developing strategic procurement methodologies, and cultivating working relationships with suppliers and other departments within the organization. And whereas the primary objectives of a first-class procurement organization extend beyond the traditional belief that procurement's primary role is to obtain goods and services in response to internal needs. And whereas the objectives of the Town of Davie Procurement Division include supporting operational requirements, managing the procurement and contracting process equitably as well as efficiently and effectively, developing strong relationships with other functional groups and stakeholders, and supporting organizational goals and objectives. And whereas the Procurement Division is committed to the fair, equitable, and timely acquisition of goods and services for the Town of Davie and cultivating a professional environment, and whereas using technology, competition, and best practices, we strive to bring the greatest value to the town and its residents in an efficient and cost-effective manner while embracing the values and guiding principles of public procurement of accountability, ethics, impartiality, professionalism, services, and transparency. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Mayor and the Town Council of the Town of Davie do hereby proclaim March 2022 as National Procurement Month. In the Town of Davie, we urge all citizens and staff to show their support and expand awareness of the procurement professionals' role to government officials, the general public, business, and corporate leaders. In witness thereof, Mayor has signed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Love your time. Oh, I'm sorry.
Brian?
Mayor and Council, Brian O'Connor, thank you very much. We always appreciate your support. Administration, Bill Ackerman, you guys have been fantastic. with everything when we look for changes or anything. Thank you very much for your support. These two ladies that are with me right now, we got Jenna Albers. She is our senior buyer. We have Rebecca Moreau. She is our procurement coordinator. These two ladies work tirelessly. They are the pillars of our department, our division. They really support everything that I do. I ask them, and they almost read my mind on a lot of things. So we work like that as a team, and it's great. So I enjoy every day working with these ladies.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. I pulled number 5, so we have with us an esteemed guest this evening, representing Southwest Ranches, Bob Hartman, who would like to say a few words before we vote on number 5.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, administration, residents, and honored guests.
An immediate world.
Yes, and the rest of us out there. Thank you for indulging me with a few minutes on an item that's normally a consent agenda item, but I'd like to talk to you about why this is important to the 3 communities that it impacts. We've been working with Richard Tornese for probably close to 10 years on trying to improve the intersection, and his team has been very creative in increasing the capacity of the intersection without doing any widening projects. Originally, when Weston was developed, Griffin Road was 2 lanes, and Weston Road was developed as 4, and over the years, Griffin Road widened, and they went from 2 left-hand turn lanes out of Weston onto Griffin East to now 3. And they did that project around the time I got elected, and I had the vantage point of standing out there with campaign signs morning and afternoon every day and really understanding the traffic patterns over there. The challenge has become now you can only fit so much through a straw, and the road really needs to be widened. The traffic coming out of Weston on Weston Road South has exceeded the 3-lane left-hand turn lane capacity. There's only one more lane, and they need to go straight and right, so they can't go any further with that. In terms of the impact to Davie is your residents that live in, Ivanhoe, can't think of the name of the...
Hawks Bluff.
Thank you, Hawks Bluff. The folks that want to get into the entrance to Hawks Bluff off of Griffin Road sometimes back all the way up to Volunteer Road in the evenings. It's not a pleasant experience. That's 6, 8, sometimes 10 lights. Coming here tonight, I went through 3 lights at Griffin and Dykes Road to get here, which everybody's not back to work yet. Before the pandemic, it was 4 to 5 cycles of the lights. The benefit would be to relieve the traffic. Now, Richard Tornese is excited about, and for those who don't know him, he's the county highway engineer. He's excited to do this project. He's been looking for a project to actually do a widening. I'm not coming to you with plans tonight. I'm just asking for your support because I think this is something that will benefit Weston, it'll benefit Davie, and it'll benefit Southwest Ranches. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Otherwise, thank you for your time.
Our pleasure. Thank you for being here. May I have a motion to approve number 5? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. You can take that back to your council. Okay, that takes care of the consent agenda. Going on to the public hearing. Number 9 has been tabled. We'll do number 10, which is a second reading on a code amendment. Mr. Weinthal, would you please read the title?
Yes, Mayor. An ordinance of the Town of Davie, Florida, amending Chapter 12 Land Development Code by adopting Article 19, Tidal Flood Protection, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you very much. This is a public hearing. Anyone from the public who wishes to speak on this, you may come forward at this time. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Is there any question? Are there any questions or statements from council? See none. Okay, may I have a motion to approve?
So moved?
Do we need the title in the motion,
I'm sorry. Code amendment?
please?
A motion to approve the code amendment? An ordinance, have to read the whole thing?
No.
Just the
That
code
should do,
amendment? That was
right?
your job.
Motion to approve item 10 code amendment.
I'm sorry.
Thank
Thank you. Motion to approve item 10, code amendment.
Is there a second? Okay, thank you. May I have the roll call vote, please?
Vice Mayor Whitman,
Yes.
Mayor Paul,
Yes.
Councilmember Starkey,
Yes.
Councilmember Hatton,
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Going on to number 11 is a rezoning. This is also a second and final reading. Mr. Weinthal, is this, the quasi's been waived?
Quasi's been waived.
Okay. Would you please read the ordinance by title?
Yes,
Or
Mayor.
the rezoning by title?
An ordinance of the Town of Davie, Florida, approving rezoning application ZB 20-060 Kings Manor MHC, changing the zoning designation of certain lands within the Town of Davie from Mobile Home R-1T County District to Mobile Home MH-10 District, amending the town zoning map to comply therewith, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you very much. This was approved on the first reading. This is the second and final reading. May I remind everyone this requires a supermajority vote.
Motion to
Wait,
approve.
did I call for anybody?
You have
from
to
here?
ask if any members
No, I wasn't finished yet. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Now, is there anyone that wishes to speak from here?
No, but I'll make a motion to approve number 11 rezoning.
Thank you very much. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Lewis,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Whitman,
Yes.
Councilmember Hatton,
Yes.
Councilmember Starkey,
Yes.
Mayor Paul.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. This closes the public hearing portion of the meeting. Do we have any appointments? I don't think so. We have the Planning and Zoning Board term expiration, those appointments. Madam Clerk, are you going to handle that?
Okay, so their terms do expire April 1st of 2022, so we do need to discuss them, so I can go one by one. And if you wish to reappoint, there was backup if your current appointee was interested or not. I do have extras if you need it, though. So Mayor Paul, do you wish to appoint?
I'm reappointing.
Okay. Can we have a motion to reappoint
Give the name.
Donna Evans?
Second.
Second.
Oh, sorry, Michelle.
Yeah, that's all right. All those in favor, say aye. Oh, do we
Aye.
have to do a roll call on this one?
Voice vote's fine.
Votes are okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Witten, your appointment is David Donzella.
I'd like to reappoint him.
Make the motion.
I'd like to make the motion to reappoint him.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Councilmember Hatton, you do have a vacancy.
Yes, I'd like to appoint Casey Lee.
Second?
Casey Lee.
Casey.
Casey Care.
Yeah, I'm sorry, well, you're right, I don't know what you
Let's
were
be
doing.
formal about it.
Okay.
Okay, did you make that
I
motion?
did.
And you seconded it, Maura?
I seconded
Oh,
it.
Well,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, we got a second.
Doesn't
All
matter.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Councilmember Starkey, your appointment is Mike Crowley.
Motion to appoint Mike Crowley.
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you.
Councilmember Lewis, you do have a vacancy.
Who is on it? might mean that you won't have a representative for the next P and Z meeting.
But they can go, they just can't be part of it, right? Am I correct?
Wait, didn't Lisa, oh no, Lisa was a general one. Who was
Right.
your appointment?
David Oakes, I believe, was,
No.
oh,
Yeah, it was Jeff,
Jeff
right.
Dixon, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
But Evelyn said that the person could attend the meeting, they just couldn't be part of it till they're appointed.
Everyone, the meetings are open to the public, so
Right,
of course
so
anyone could attend, but they
If he
can't
wants to keep
vote.
up- No,
Okay.
Jeff say he didn't want to be on it?
He may not have gotten a hold of him. Did you get a hold of him?
I believe he said he could no longer serve.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this,
I know he's ill, but I thought he would still be able to do it. That's why I didn't come up with somebody. I thought he would still, I didn't want to take somebody off who's sick. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'd rather wait there
okay.
and pick somebody then.
Okay. And then we have the two general council appointments. The first one was Robert Breslau.
Motion to add Robert Breslow.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous.
And the second council appointment is Lisa Alvarez.
We have a
Motion to add
I
Lisa.
motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't see anything for old business or new business. Notice the schedule of our next meetings, April, May, and June. Where is the year going?
I know, right?
I'm already looking at first budget workshop.
For
Oh my
next
God.
year.
Oh, my God, yeah. Oh, mayor and council member comments? Vice Mayor Whitman, would you like to start?
Sure, thank you, Mayor. I do have a few items to mention. Since last month, I've been working with our fire and police departments to conduct an active shooter drill. The two departments are conducting weekly active shooter training to assure that both departments are prepared to respond to these high-stress events. The training is taking place Monday evenings in the school and sanctuary of the local church in Davie located off of Flamingo Road. The church has been gracious in allowing our personnel to use their facilities to conduct this very important training. The training includes implementing stop the bleed techniques, victim removal, and other tactics in a simulated high-stress environment, utilizing live volunteers as actors and mannequins. The Davie Fire Rescue CERT team is an active component to these training sessions, volunteering each week as mock victims, assisting with moulage, and coordinating the training. I want to thank everyone for their efforts. As a reminder, this coming Saturday, March 19th, the Davie Police Department is hosting the monthly Child Safety Seat Installment Program. It's by appointment only, so please schedule your attendance with their team. The event will take place from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. It will be held at the CarMax parking lot. On March 27th, here at Banford, PAL is having their triathlon at 6 a.m.
Good luck.
If you're interested, come on out.
Yeah, right. Running in my dreams.
I have worked with Assistant Chief Moran for the past 7 years, so I want to congratulate him as well on his well-deserved promotion. I know we'll continue to see great things from the team. And last but certainly not least, Mayor, I want to thank you for including me in the Student of the Month recognitions yesterday. It's quite nice to see how much they love and appreciate interacting with and receiving a certificate. I enjoy spending time with these future Davie leaders. And don't forget to wear a touch of green tomorrow in celebration of St. Patrick's Day. Thank you.
Thank you. Marlon, I'm going to let you go next, so I don't forget you.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Today, our police department kicked off their high visibility enforcement program. The PD will have additional officers on patrol in specific corridors where they have seen high volume of pedestrian and bicyclist crashes. Traffic officers will be able to look out for various dangerous situations such as speeding, conducting improper turns or signal violations, or those drivers who are using their handheld devices while driving. Our public safety team is doing their part to help reduce pedestrian and bicyclist fatalities and injuries in Florida. The post was shared on their Facebook page, so if you have any questions, please go check it out. I also want to bring everyone up that the annual Relay for Life event will take place on Saturday, April the 23rd at Cooper City High School. This event will take place between 3 to 11 p.m. This year, the event is partnership with the town of Davie, with Cooper City and Weston. Please help us fight cancer by donating to the town's team. This Relay for Life this year really has a lot of meaning to me, as I have one cousin I'm very, very close to that's suffering from cancer very, very bad, and I have two very, very close friends here that live in the town that are suffering from cancer. And, I was thinking I have a sister that suffers from it. Cancer is really just a scourge of mankind, and I just really appreciate everybody's support and look forward to giving support for this Relay for Life. They do a lot of really good, tremendous work. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Starkey?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, and I'm going to echo that on the Relay for Life. I've been participating in the Davie Cooper City Relay for Life for a little more than 20 years. And I can tell you that they've done a great job. And through the pandemic, they really didn't get an opportunity to raise funds as much as they had tried to do virtual. But this year they're back. And I went to the meeting yesterday, last night actually, with Simone from Public Works. Thank you, Jeff. And the theme this year will be Game Over Cancer. So the different game elements will be kind of like the theme. And even though we're team horsing around in Davie, it's actually going to be a football theme. And so I look forward to that. We still need sponsors. We still need everyone in the town to contribute if they can, if they're interested in starting up their own team. We would greatly appreciate that, because this year we need to raise more funds. Already, they have raised $98,000 for the Davie, Cooper City, and Weston now Relay for Life. So we're excited about that, and we're really looking forward to, that was due to Ultimate Software donating $30,000 and some others, large contributors that really helped out. I also, cancer has struck probably everyone I know up here as well, with somebody they know or love, and most of the people listening. The vendors it's a very cheap opportunity for you to peddle your wares. It's only $50 for a booth as a donation, and then with a chance to raise another $50 contributed back. So if you're a vendor, you can also raise money yourself for not only the event, but for yourself as a vendor. So if you're interested in attending, they have opportunities for that. It kicks off at 3, team laps at 4, survivor dinner at 5, and then the Illuminarias at 8 p.m. The final event closes at 11 o'clock. One of the good things about the session for the legislative session is it's over. And our 2022 session is over. The good news is there were $245 million mission-related money that went to cancer and cancer treatments in this year's legislative budget. The Mary Brogan Breast and Cervical Cancer Early Detection Program, the legislative, they allocated $1.8 million. So that's another really good thing that happened this session. There were some really follies that kind of went back and forth where we were hoping items didn't pass, and the good thing was a couple of those did not pass. One of the sovereign immunity bill that was tracking, we were following quite a bit, did not pass. Good thing was, it did pass, but as amended. I apologize. It passed, but it didn't. It failed to cross the finish line, as they say. And they had amended it. We were hoping that the amendments were going to get adopted, but they did not. And that would have affected a lot of the way municipalities do business and large risk amounts for our insurance that would have had to be passed along to our residents. Smoking, no butts about it, they said, cigarette butts, on the beaches and in parks passed. That was a good thing finally. So as we said, that was a good thing. The tree protection bill, which took away our hometown ability to regulate permits and so forth for nuisance trees and other things, it's headed for the governor, and we did support that with the Florida League of Cities as amended. So it finally went forward, and those dangerous trees on residential properties would require a permit. So there were several other local business damages bill is going to be signed. We didn't really particularly care for that bill. Along with cybersecurity, $67 million will be allocated to cybersecurity because many of our governments have had a lot of risks taken. And short-term rental, unfortunately, failed to make it across the finish line again because there was so much controversy and back and forth between those who wanted to be able to have vacation rentals and make money off of it as providers and those of us who would like in the municipalities and residential communities to actually regulate where they could put vacation rentals or those kinds of, but it did fail to make it across as amended. We were hoping it would amend. Lots of other fun things, but I'm going to just wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day and hopefully see everybody at the St. David Carnival this weekend. It's a lot of fun for all.
Thank you very much.
And happy birthday coming to my Bella. She'll be 8.
Time
You
goes
remember
by.
when she was born.
Yeah, before she was born.
Councilmember Hatton?
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have an awful lot. My other fellow council members kind of covered everything, but there is something I do want to mention. It's some very exciting times where we're moving into our new home over here in Pine Island. I want to thank everybody who's working so very hard to move us. It's not an easy thing to do, to move all those people and all that furniture and all those files and all that technology. I don't know how you do it. So I know my computer's somewhere in transition between Town Hall and my new office. So I'm looking forward to seeing the new place and seeing our new Town Hall when it's done. And I just want to thank everybody that's here. And if they're not here, please tell them I sent thanks because it is not an easy thing to do. Just moving a house is hard enough, never mind moving a town. So thank you very much, and I appreciate all the hard work. And I'm in my color. I'm in my element. Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. I wish everybody out in Gilbra and have a very happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank
Have
you.
a beer.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to start off and thank Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who brought home a nice sizable appropriation for the Shenandoah drainage project, and that omnibus bill did pass and went to the president, and he signed it, so that's a done deal. We're really happy about that. Also, on the state level, Representatives Gottlieb and Bartleman both were able to get some appropriations, and we're just hoping it's on the governor's desk, and we're hoping that he doesn't cut them. But we just keep our fingers crossed. I want to congratulate again our fire rescue department for honoring the entire town with their wonderful work and their expertise. As far as Relay for Life, Jeff, how about if Horsing Around has a horse with a football helmet on it? You know, we can kind of stay with horsing around in a jersey. So we'll stay with our horsing around, but give it a little football flair. I'd like to mention that the flashers, maybe I shouldn't say that, the blinking lights. A little humor, okay. The blinking lights on 14th Street are in operation. This was done very quickly. We had residents come to us and implore that we do something about the safety of their children crossing 14th Street when they come and go to school, that they walk. And having I'm trying to think of the right word. I travel that road every day, and it amazes me on the speed. And there is nothing stopping the people from that's any speed. Plus, we get a lot of illegal trucks, 18-wheelers. That this is not it's not a truck through street. So unless we have police officers there, that's a real problem on that street too. So I've noticed coming down 14th Street, people are actually slowing down when they see those flashing lights, because until they get up close and see that it says pedestrian crossing, they don't actually know why they're flashing. And I like the way they're positioned, because they're near homes, but the way they're positioned, that light does not impact the homes in any way. So it's really good, and I'm glad that we were able to meet the needs of the parents so efficiently and so quickly. So I want to thank staff that worked on that. We appreciate that. I'd like to try something a little different, and that is maybe starting, I don't know whether we want to start it at the next meeting or maybe wait until after we come back for our summer break. But I'd like to have us invite for each meeting a different troop, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, to come and do the Pledge of Allegiance for us. And I thought that might be, we used to do it and it got kind of lost during the pandemic, I guess. So I'd like to go back and do that. We can discuss it further. I've had a couple of residents call me about Wolf Lake. I'd like to have a meeting perhaps to discuss, and I've spoken to the residents about that we were probably going to set up some sort of a schedule where reservations would have to be made, because we have to control the crowds and the number of horses that are in the lake in order to keep it from getting contaminated again. So we should be talking about that. Okay. Happy St. Patrick's Day and happy Purim. So Queen Esther will be wearing green tomorrow. So I want to thank everybody for all their support again, and we're looking forward to coming into our new home, our new temporary home, and look anxiously forward to the groundbreaking for the new town hall. Thank you very much. Boy, I stayed under time. Wow. Mr. Lemack.
Mayor, I have nothing this evening. Thank you.
Oh, my goodness.
Happy
Ms. Ryan?
Purim, that's all I got.
You don't have anything either? Aw, isn't that a shame? Is there any objection? No objection. We're adjourned.